Welcome! I know it feels like Groundhog Day here, but believe me, it's part 2 of this series where initially we focused on the Dowager's hump, the Dowager's neck, the buffalo neck, that area in the cervical region where you get a hump, not necessarily that thoracic kyphosis, but the Dowager's hump, where it could occur from excessive sitting, being sedentary, not being very active, being in a seated position for very prolonged periods of time, bus drivers, accountants, aging population, or it could be stress induced as well, or how you sleep. But more importantly, in part 2 here, what we want to focus on is we want to focus on what starts occurring if you do have that hump, and if you don't even have that hump, what happens from that seated posture, the stiffening of the neck, the excessive compression, the tightness in the shoulders, the uncomfortableness in the upper back, and we want to try to reverse that. And you're going to start reversing that today with me, your host, Jesse Sawyer, nationally recognized inclusive fitness trainer, Silver Sneaker Flex instructor, and you can find out more about me by visiting my website at www.jessesawyer.com. So again, it's part 2. You can do this in the seated position, you can do this in the standing position. Part 1, hopefully you enjoyed, and you're working on those exercises, holding them for that amount of time or that amount of rep count that I gave you, and that you are now ready for part 2 because you've been working on reversing the Dowager's hump, and now we're saying let's work on the stiffness and the tightness and the contraction of the back with a weakness. Rotation, so in that nice upright standing position, hands right here on the thighs, neutral head. I just want you to turn your neck, right, and your chin all the way to the left. And I want you to go as far as possible where it's comfortable, where you feel the trap getting a little stretch, and that's this triangular part that's on both sides of your neck. And you're gonna just hold that for about 20-second hold. And then you're going to come back to the front, neutral position. Again, neck rotation to the right side, same thing. You can turn it, hold it, stretching out now the left side of the neck. So depending on which side you turn to, that is the side that is not necessarily going to be impacted or stretched. Now, you can always lead off with that chin tuck that we've done in part 1, really gets the chin and the cervical spine really introduced to some exercises, warms it up, gets the fluids going, the oxygen pumping, those muscles energized in the neck. So that's your first exercise. And you want to kind of do that, again, 2 to 3 sets where you're working on that neck rotation, right? You can pick up your pace if you want and just do a rep count of 10 as well. Hopefully that assists with some of the neck discomfort or the excessive exercise or some of the stresses you have in your life that you might have slept wrong on the pillow the night before. You might be driving with your arm up, and some of those things are going to impact that trap behind having that Dowager hump or that buffalo hump or even some of that thoracic kyphosis, which we're really not getting into. We really just want to really improve your posture and take away some of that strain from your shoulders, your back, your neck. Next exercise. Number 2 now, or number 7 if you've been coming along with this 2-part series. Get some hydration if you need to. It's that cross body stretch. So we're just going to have our hands down to the side. I'm going to take that right hand, right, and I'm just going to come up and I'm just going to put my hand right on that left shoulder. Looks like I'm in a sling. But now I'm going to lift that elbow up and I'm going to come across with that left hand and I'm just going to pull across. Where it's comfortable, where it is simplified, and where I'm capable with my range of motion. And that is going to pull on really that entire back of the arm and through that trap and that rear delt and that lateral delt as well. And you kind of just want to hold this in this position, again, 20 to 30 seconds. We don't want to do this in a dynamic type motion. So when I say dynamic type motion, you're not coming up and you're not coming like this and you're not pulling it through. We want to really hold that in a static stretch. Other side looks like this. You're going to take that left hand. You're just going to come across, cross the heart, right? Pledge allegiance to the flag. Lift it up. Right hand comes across and pulls. Just like that. A cross body stretch. A little high. If you need to go a little lower with that cross body stretch, you may go a little lower. I'll demonstrate that momentarily. And you're really just trying to take that arm and it's just sliding back and through down towards the vertebrae as you hold it. Again, 20 to 30 seconds. Now that's a little high stretch. If you need to come here and cross body it, you can come here and cross body it. You're just not going to target the trap as much and take some of that tension off. So there we had two different exercises there to really try to assist, relieve, reduce some of the strain and the tension on your neck, the back, the shoulders. And that was the rotation of the neck. That was the cross body stretch. And now we're going to do a cervical bend or a neck bend. Cervical bend is your neck. We call it a neck bend or a cervical bend. Take that left ear and you're just going to drop it down. There you go. So you should feel as you drop to the left side, ear to the left side, nice and tall, nice and upright, seated or standing. You should feel that triangular, again, shape, right, of the neck, of the trap, getting a stretch on that right side. And again, you're holding this again for 20 to 30 seconds on that. Now you're going to come back up and you're going to do the opposite side. So as I go and take my ear to the right ear, right shoulder, I'm going to feel that more on the left side. That left trap is going to get stretched out. Now, are there other ways to increase this stretch? Yes. You can again bend towards your left ear to left shoulder, and you can raise that left arm up and you can actually pull down and tug on your head, forehead, side of the head, and pull down a little bit more where you get a little more stretch on the right side or the left side. Vice versa, if you want to do that right side, you're just going to take that right hand up and you're going to pull it all the way down. A better way to get the trap stretch on the opposite side is to have somebody grab this hand, the off hand, and pull the off hand down as you're stretching, and it will actually stretch the opposite side even more. So there's 3 different exercises for you. You can try these at home, incorporate them on a daily routine, and I guarantee you that you're going to feel, well, you're going to feel better. You're going to feel more energized. You're going to have less discomfort in the neck region. If you do have that Dowager's hump or that buffalo hump, or the little circular area, that kyphosis starting to start there, it is going to start reducing and have some reduction to it as well by just doing these exercises, and you're going to feel alive and awake, and you're going to have greater posture. The other exercises we want to do 2 different trap stretches to add to these different exercises that I just showed you today. So right now we did the neck bend or the cervical bend, we did a cross body stretch, and we also did a cervical rotation or a cervic or a neck rotation. Either or. You can put them in any order you want to. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do a trap stretch, an upper trap stretch as well. So now I'm going to just stand here, hands nice, rested on those thighs or in that seated position, and I'm going to turn my neck to the right. So I'm going to do that cervical rotation, but now I'm going to roll the shoulders back. I'm going to engage my scapula, looking over my shoulder, right? I'm going to now look up and I'm going to draw my head back and down. And I'm going to hold it in that position. And my eyes are going to be looking up that direction. And you should feel the trap engage, right? Because we're trying to get it to contract, right? We're trying to get it to actually do its job. So we're not trying to reduce the contraction here. We're trying to actually get some contraction so that that is engaging. So I'll show you that again. Nice, good standing position. Roll the shoulders back. You can just roll the shoulders back first. And then you want to turn your head, right? Cervical rotation. And then I want you to drive the head down a little bit. So I'm turning and then I'm driving back and down. And then I'm looking up. So now you're going to get a little neck stretch here, but you're also going to engage the trap. Other side now, right? Because we're in this upper part of the trap. And this is your upper part of the trap, right? Where it creates that diamond shape running up your neck. So again, roll the shoulders back, engage the scapula, turn with a cervical rotation or neck rotation, and then drive the head down and back, and then look on up. So as you look on up, what happens, because you're driving down and back, when you start looking on up into the corner, is that's when the contraction starts occurring, and that's when that trap starts grabbing and grasping. And you kind of want to hold that again, 20 to 30 seconds. You're going to feel the contraction right here or right here. And it'll help reduce and release some stress. And it's also going to make the trap a little stronger. Not to the fact where it's trying to hold your head up, but so that it's stronger. So when that head does start falling forward in that forward flexion, it knows to actually engage and pull the neck back up. And you're going to have less discomfort for that. Now, the next exercise that I'm going to give you today is another upper trap exercise. And this upper trap exercise is going to engage the upper trap where it's like a shrug, where we're going to hold it for momentarily hold. Whew. So you're going to just drive those shoulders up like this, elbows to ears, and then I want you to squeeze, right, the trap together. Now, that might be a little discomforting at first for some of you at home as you hold this position for about a 5 count. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then relax. And then you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to drive those elbows up, shoulders up, hands up, and you're going to drive right into those ears, and you're just going to squeeze that trap. And you're going to hold it there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax it. I'll turn to the side so you can actually see it. It's an upper trap release, and the real goal of this upper trap release is to engage it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then release it. So it's to get contraction of the trap. Hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then release it. Dropping them down. We're going to do that one more time. Here we go. And you can roll those shoulders back first if you want, and then drive up. But you're going to engage that trap a little bit more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax it. Or you can just stay in that neutral position. 5 different exercises. Part 2 of this series. You had that cervical or that neck bend. You had that cross body stretch. Pulling through. You had that cervical or neck rotation, right? Remember that neck bend, you can add to it if you want. Get that trap. You had the upper trap stretch or upper trap release where you come up and then you squeeze and then you release, engaging, contracting that trap. And then you had the trap, upper trap stretch where we're just taking it over and turning, looking up, and taking it back, and really engaging and contracting that trap. Part 2 of this series, hopefully it helps you with some of that discomfort at home, and hopefully I was a good host as well. Come back for part 3, my friends. Peace.